Hello there, very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1. On behalf of the News First, the voice of the people, I'm Martin Satyanesan. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for this afternoon. Express Pearl begins to sink. Bank concessions to those affected by third wave of COVID-19. Distribution of 5,000 rupee concession begins. Stickers strand public on the streets. Blaze destroys 20 acres of the Balumgala mountain in Valimada. Now those stories in detail. Andrew Leahy, the director for Southeast Asia of MTI Private Limited, representing the operators of the Express Pearl vessel, speaking to News First, said water was filling inside the hull of the Express Pearl and salvors from Netherlands are assessing the situation. Meanwhile, Commander of the Navy Vice Admiral Nishanta Ulugetana said the sinking Express Pearl container ship is being towed into deep seas.
Reports indicate that the ship destroyed by the fire that erupted on board the vessel due to an acid leak is currently sinking. A few images of the sinking Express Pearl ship have been circulating on social media. Initial investigations by the National Aquatic Resources Research and Development Agency on NARA suggest that the acid leak on board the ship had not caused a change in the pH value of the seawater. Director of NARA, Palita Kitsiri, said that the samples of the soil from the vicinity of the casualty have been collected. Meanwhile, the Minister of Environment, Mahinda Amaravira, has requested President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to appoint a special committee to investigate the incident. Minister Amaravira said that he proposed for heads of the institutions involved in the incident and professors from universities to be appointed as members of the committee. The Central Environmental Authority is currently engaged in cleanup operations along the shores in 5 districts of the island.
Heavy traffic was reported at entry points to Colombo despite the travel restrictions that are in place today. However, a special sticker valid for only 24 hours was attached on every vehicle that was inspected by the police.
Police media spokesperson DIG Ajit Rohana said that special stickers were attached on vehicles entering Colombo from Gampaha, Panadura, Nugegoda, Mount Lavinia and Wattala. The stickers will only be valid for a period of 24 hours. The move was implemented in order to avoid repeated inspections of the same vehicle at more than one location. Stickers were attached opposite the Paliagoda police along the Colombo-Kandy main road, and a tense situation arose due to the lack of stickers. A heavy traffic congestion was observed due to this situation. I came here in the line. Once I reached the end of the line, they asked me to get a sticker pasted. But when I went there, they had run out of stickers. There is no proper method here. We are working for the bank and we had returned here twice since they did not paste the sticker in a proper way. Now the bank should have been opened. They have not organized this properly. We are expecting to continue this program and we are requesting the heads of institutions to refrain from allowing anyone else other than the people who are essential to be present at offices. Because of that, many people are using their private vehicles as public transport is not available. Vehicles were inspected at the Panadura checkpoint along the Gaul Road this morning, and individuals travelling without a valid permit were returned to their homes. Vehicles were inspected near the Dehiwala flyover as well. Heavy traffic was reported as the vehicles were inspected along 2 lanes along the Gaul Road. Vehicles bound to Colombo along the high-level road were inspected in Nugegoda. Stickers were attached on vehicles after being inspected by the police. This was the situation at the Parliament roundabout and Rajagiri Junction this morning. Heavy traffic congestion was reported at the Idbangwala Junction this morning.
43 more COVID-19 deaths were reported in the country, bringing the total death toll to 1,527. 2,845 new COVID-19 cases were detected in the country yesterday. 1,631 people recovered from the infection and were discharged from the hospital, taking the total number of recovered cases in the country to 153,371. Dr. Chandima Jeevandara, Director of Institute of Allergy and Immunology and Cell Biology at the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, said that a biopsy has been launched to determine whether COVID-19 has undergone changes. He further noted that samples collected from across the island will be tested. With that, we draw your attention to the inoculation program in the country.
The inoculation of residents of Periyamulla in Negombo with the Sinopharm vaccine began today at the Al Hilal Central College. 500 residents are expected to receive the vaccine today. Army Commander General Shavendra Silva said the vaccination program is also in effect in Jaffna, Matara, Kurunegala and Kandy districts today.
Signatures were obtained from the general public in Kandy recently, granting their consent to the fact that only the first dose of the Sputnik vaccine is sufficient. Minister Namal Rajapaksa, who engaged in an inspection tour in Kandy yesterday, expressed several views to the media regarding this matter.
පළවෙනි මාත්‍රාව පමණක් ලබා ගැනීමට උවද එකක වෙමි කියලා මුද්‍රාවක් තබලා ඒ තුල අත්සන් ගන්නවා. ඒ පිළිබඳව මොකක්ද අමතක වෙන්නේ?
සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යාංශය විසින් තමයි තීන්දුව කරන්නේ.
The Ministry of Health will decide the number of doses according to international standards. Once that decision is made, the regional officers will be informed. However, a no objection form must be signed.
කොහොමත් අත්සන් කරන්න ඕනේ.
සමහර ෆෝම්වල ඒ සීල් එක ජනතාව විසින් කපලා ජනතාව ලියලා තියෙනවා. දෙවෙනි මාත්‍රාවත් ලබා දීමට කටයුතු කරනවා නම් වඩාත් හොඳයි කියලා ජනතාව ලියලා අත්සන් කරලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට මෙතනින් ඒ ජනතාව ලියපු එක ආපහු කපන්න කියලා ජනතාවට අත්සන් කරන්න කියලා සීල් එකට අනුගත වෙලා මේ තමන්ගේ අත්සන යොදන්න කියලා කියලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ජනතාවගේ යම්කිසි විරෝධයක් තියෙනවා දෙවෙනි මාත්‍රාවත් මේ වැඩපිළිවෙල කියලා හිතනවා.
නෑ පළවෙනි මාත්‍රාවද
We can't decide whether it is the first dose or the second dose. The health sector must decide that. If there is an objection, it must be clearly stated. If so, we can inquire into the matter.
ප්‍රකාශ කරන්න පුළුවන්. කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ. ඒක අයිතියක්.
Meanwhile, journalists questioned the State Minister Channa Jayasumana regarding this matter during a media briefing.
If by any chance the manufacturer says that one dose is enough, we must be prepared for that. It is this expert committee that recommended including this point in the consent form used.
consent form එකට අවසර ලබා දීමේ පත්‍රයට මේ කරුණත් ඇතුල් කරන්න කියලා. ඊයේ කෙහෙලි ඇමතුමාගේ ප්‍රකාශය
There is a contradiction between the statements made by Minister Kehelia Rambukwella and the statement that you are making. What should the public believe? You said yesterday not to be deceived by fake notices. What should the people believe? Is taking one dose enough, or should the people take both doses?
දෙකම ගන්න ඕන.
It is the recommendation of the National Medicines Authority to administer both the doses of the Sputnik vaccine. The Sputnik company has officially said that one dose of the vaccine is sufficient. Read the seal properly. Does it say only take the first dose? It says that taking only one dose is enough. Read it carefully. If we receive the second dose, we will distribute it. There is no issue regarding that. There is a contradiction. But if the manufacturer states that they are not manufacturing the second dose, shouldn't we be prepared for that? It is these steps necessary for that are being taken here.
එතකොට ඒ සඳහා අපි පූර්ව සූදානමක් විය යුතු නැද්ද? ඒ සඳහා අවශ්‍ය පියවර තමයි මේ අරන් ඉන්නේ.
According to two scientists who led the COVID-19 Italian research, Samples from a study suggesting the coronavirus was circulating outside China by October 2019 have been retested at the request of the World Health Organization.
The World Health Organization said experts were preparing a proposal on the next studies to be carried out into the origins of the virus, but there was no timeline. COVID-19 was first identified in the central Chinese city of Wuhan in December 2019, while Italy's first patient was detected on the 21st of February last year in a small town near Milan. However, a study published last year suggested antibodies to either the virus or a variant were detected in Italy in 2019. That prompted Chinese media to suggest the virus might not have originated in China, although the Italian researchers stress the findings raised questions about when the virus first emerged rather than where. There is growing international pressure to learn more about the origins of the pandemic that has killed more than 3 million people worldwide, and US President Joe Biden last week ordered his aides to find answers.
People in Hatton gathered today to collect 5,000 rupee allowance. However, some people who gathered there alleged that they did not receive this concession given by the government. Meanwhile, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka has advised the rest of the banks in the country to implement concession methods for individuals and businesses that are impacted due to the third wave of COVID-19 in the country. The central bank has also informed to postpone the collection of outstanding loans, interest or both the elements till the 31st of August by considering the situations such as loss of employment, loss of a source of income, salary or reduction in sales and closing down the businesses. The individuals who are expected to apply for this concession program can do so by writing to the bodies on or before the 21st of June on paper or via email. Late applications will only be accepted due to a valid reason. Moving along, the authorities are yet to provide a viable solution to the shortage of fertilizer in the country. Vadigavavar in Madhurigiriya is yet another village that is battered by the fertilizer crisis.
Farmers in Vadigavavar, Madhurigiriya are helpless due to the lack of fertilizer for their crops. This is the fate that has befallen 1,500 acres of land that these farmers have cultivated on for the Yalla season. Plantation workers warn that tea cultivation is in danger due to the lack of fertilizer. Convening a media briefing today, they pointed out the importance of safeguarding the tea industry, which is an integral part of their lives. If fertilizer is not used on time on their cultivations, their harvests will be ruined along with their lives.
Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka Agricultural Economic Association has written to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa sharing its insights on the proposed green socio-economic model and the agricultural sector.
According to the Sri Lanka Agricultural Economics Association, there is a grave risk in using imported organic fertilizer, which is likely to have seeds of weeds, pathogenic bacteria, fungi and nematodes. Such organisms could have disease outbreaks in crops, livestock and human society, leading to heavy economic losses. The association had noted in their letter that imported organic fertilizers also pose a high risk of contaminating our soils and water resources. Once the pollutants enter into our ecosystem and destroys it, it is not easy to recover from the damage, according to the association. The Sri Lanka Agricultural Economics Association predicts massive economic losses due to potential yield losses in the absence of proper substitutes for chemical fertilizers and pesticides, with the implementation of the import ban on fertilizers and pesticides. They further went on to note that the immediate adverse impact on food security, farm incomes, foreign exchange earnings and rural poverty can be detrimental. The letter highlights that yield from paddy could drop by 25%, coconut yields by 30%. A reduction in average agricultural productivity by 20% could cause a decrease in gross domestic product by 3.05%, suggesting an overall contraction of the economy with the implementation of the import ban. In the letter, the association highlights that Sri Lanka spends nearly 300 billion rupees annually to import food, and banning inorganic fertilizer and other agrochemicals will reduce local food production, resulting in a need to increase our food imports, causing expenditure on imports to rise.
In one of a headline-making story, a fire that erupted on the Balumgala mountain in Valimada destroyed 20 acres of land in the area.
The dry weather that persisted yesterday made dousing the fire a daunting task. According to our correspondent, the fire was doused only this morning. The Disaster Management Unit of the Valimada Divisional Secretariat took steps to temporarily evacuate 2 families affected by the fire and keep them in safe locations. It is suspected that arson by an individual or a group is suspected to have caused the fire.
In your international news, the World Health Organization has approved China's Sinovac COVID vaccine for emergency use. From that, we bring to a close this edition of Lunchtime News on TV Bond. For details of these stories and much more, simply log on to our website www.newsfirst.lk. For the Newsfirst, the voice of the people, I'm Martin Satyanesan. You take care and stay safe.